The Bitcoin thing, however, is very serious.
Yeah.
North of $40,000. So it's not 150. You can't buy the Hamptons yet. It's not 100. You can't buy Goldman Sachs yet. But
can I tell you something about Bitcoin?
Let's talk rocket ships. First, Bitcoin. That falls into that category because that's what that is.
So I think Bitcoin is very important because it just shows the fragility of, the traditional financial infrastructure.
I mean, can you play the clip in 2012 and 13 when it was at 200 and everybody was laughing at me on CNBC every time I would talk about Bitcoin? Where is it going? It's probably going to 100, then 150, then 200,000. In what period? I don't know. 5 years, 10 years, but it's going there. And the reason is because every time you see all of this stuff happening, it just reminds you that, wow, our leaders are not as trustworthy and reliable as they used to be.
Chamath Palihapitiya doubles down on his Bitcoin prediction and speaks on cryptocurrency, NFTs, and we take a look at why, despite being extremely bullish on Bitcoin, Chamath is bearish on the future of Ethereum. In this video, we'll be taking a look at billionaire investor Chamath Palihapitiya and his recent interview in which he doubles down on his Bitcoin price target. For those that don't know Chamath Palihapitiya, he is a venture capitalist and CEO and founder of Social Capital. He was an early executive on the board of Facebook, so he's been on the cusp of innovative technology virtually his entire career. Chamath first began investing in Bitcoin before 2014, so was extremely early to the scene. If you are unfamiliar with Chamath, I'd strongly recommend checking out some of his interviews or podcasts. He's an extremely well-spoken guy and I hold his investment ideas in high regard. As we have covered some investors' bearish sentiment over the last few days on the channel, I wanted to switch it up with a bull case on Bitcoin and cryptocurrency for today. Make sure to stick around to the end of the video where I'm going to be covering two new pieces of Bitcoin data and analytics that have come out over the last 12 hours that suggest where the Bitcoin price is likely to go from here. Here's Chamath last week on his updated opinion on Bitcoin, crypto, and the exploding world of NFTs. Also, only a tiny percentage of people who watch my videos are actually subscribed. If you enjoyed the video, consider subscribing. It's free and you can always change your mind. Enjoy the video.
For a second, it's not Bitcoin that replaces the US dollar. It is a stable coin. And what does all of that mean? In less fancy language, there are companies around the world that are replacing one fixed US dollar with one digital token of a US dollar. And by simply making that small abstraction, they're able to completely build financial rails that didn't exist before. On-ramps and off-ramps to trading, to asset management, to banking, to payments processing. There's a revolution happening. It's not felt as much in the United States because people don't see it because the financial services infrastructure is so robust. But when you look at the developing world, and if you look in any market where there is any form of currency manipulation or currency instability, that's the future. And so, Bitcoin is a canary in a coal mine for a completely virtual, largely anonymous, and we can debate whether that's good or not, financial reality. And so, I think that it's a very important trend that's worth understanding. The other thing is, so many of the dislocations that we've seen won't happen anymore when we go on those rails. So, going back to this whole GameStop debacle, as I've learned more, and as you probably know now too, a lot of this has to do with the arcane way in which stocks are settled. And what I learned was we used to have a T+3, after the trading day, 3 days later is when you'd settle. And it was moving heaven and earth, crying and screaming to move companies to go to T+2. Well, if you're running a stable coin or, smart contracts on top of Ethereum, all of this next generation infrastructure, this is T+0, right? You're settling things in a nanosecond. And that's really good for everybody.
which coins, if you will, cryptocurrencies, digital assets, are you a holder of? Are you a believer in?
Well, I will be publishing this soon. I am building a fairly sizable portfolio of what are called NFTs, non-fungible tokens, some digital art, some virtual trading cards, And these may sound crazy to some, but I do think that that's the next frontier of digital currency and digital assets. And so I have been building a portfolio. My decision is the team and I will announce it. We will publicize everything we own, and we will make our holdings transparent so that folks can track along and see as we buy and sell things. So that's coming in a few months. I'm not really ready to show the details of exactly what we hold yet, but I'm really excited. Maybe in a few weeks, actually, but I'm very excited. We're almost ready to tell the world.
So there's Chamath, still bullish on Bitcoin with his $150,000 price target. One of the reasons I like Chamath so much is that he gets it. He understands that Bitcoin has now become a store of value and it's not going to be used largely as a currency. It's digital gold that is superior to gold in every single way. This was one of Michael Burry's arguments and why he is against Bitcoin, the innate disincentive Bitcoin has as a deflationary asset to not spend it, which kills commerce and encourages hoarding. As Chamath correctly sees it, Bitcoin is a store of value, so this disincentive to spend does not apply. Some incredibly surprising new news that Chamath dropped is that he is building a sizable portfolio of NFTs, which is insane. For those that don't know what NFTs are, they are non-fungible tokens, which in a nutshell are essentially digital collectibles. The NFT market has recently been on fire lately, with celebrities such as Gary Vee and Logan Paul getting involved. I follow the NFT market pretty closely, and it is absolutely ridiculous what some artworks and collectibles are selling for. The reason I'm so surprised that Chamath is building a portfolio of NFTs is because he is not bullish on Ethereum, which is the blockchain that most NFTs are built on. Check out this clip of his opinion on Ethereum.
Well, I was also curious, so do you see merit in any of the other crypto assets, in particular Ethereum?
No.
And why not?
It's kind of like when you have a bellwether instrument, the gains typically go to the winner. So when there's a clear winner, it's not that these other things can't win, but there's a weird psychological effect that almost drives these second and third tier winners, which is a desire by people almost out of this sense of insecurity to not want to admit that there's a winner simply because they weren't the one to pick it first. And so what they do is they create these convoluted narratives and theses to basically anoint other winners. And yeah, can they win? Sure. But do they ever win like the category killer? No. I mean, do you really want to be long Lycos and DuckDuckGo, or did you just want to be long Google? There has been not a single market where you've been rewarded as handsomely for being long the number 2, 3, and 4 player as you are for being long the number 1 player. And again, it goes back to when things tip and go mass market, the average buyer makes the simple decision. And the simple decision is to go to the category defining winner and then set it and forget it. And so if you really want to make the money, my view has always been you find the one that's about to win: Facebook, Microsoft, Apple, Google, Amazon, and you buy it.
So Chamath is not buying Ethereum, the underlying asset that supports NFTs, but he is building a sizable portfolio of NFTs. Odd. I'd like to hear what you guys think in the comments about the state of the NFT market. In my opinion, I am bullish on the future of Ethereum, but the NFT market reminds me a lot of the ICO bubble back in 2017, when virtually any initial coin offering was pumped to insane valuations. I think there is a huge future for NFTs, however, to invest in random pieces of artworks and collectibles poses too high a degree of risk for me personally. I'm sure a select few NFTs will do well and appreciate over time, however I also think that a lot will not. Let me know what you think about NFTs and their current state in the comments. Now for 2 pieces of bullish Bitcoin data that has come out over the last 12 hours. First, out from Glassnode and their HODL wave chart, we can see that 3.3 million Bitcoin, or just under 18% of the total supply of Bitcoin, hasn't been moved from addresses in over 7 years. What this means is that very likely, just under 18% of the total supply of Bitcoin has been completely lost. Old wallets or miners that have been forgot about, or the private keys lost, meaning that the Bitcoin can never re-enter circulation again. Combine this with the amount of supply continuing to leave major exchanges and you can see just how little Bitcoin there is to go around. Simple supply and demand. As supply goes down, the wave of demand for Bitcoin will just continue to push the price higher and higher and higher. Secondly, we all knew it was coming, but now the paperwork has been officially filed for the first US Bitcoin ETF, which will launch by the latest by the 28th of October. We saw it launch in Canada on the Toronto Stock Exchange, and we knew it was just a matter of time before it happened in the US, and here it is. The ETF just goes to show ongoing demand for Bitcoin, increased institutional validation, and will mean a wave of money coming for Bitcoin later in the year. Great news to see. Anyway guys, hope you enjoyed today's video and that provided you with some value. I'll see you in the next video, and as always, have a great day.